Today we're going to find out there are some people who used to live, many good Yidden, who their whole life was about schar. It was all about reward. It was all about getting more candy when they go to the next world. And it's a very sad life. In a lot of religions, by the way, the entire purpose of their religion is that you can go to heaven, and in heaven you have lots and lots of goodies. So the thing is that there were some Yidden who lived like that, and it's a very, very sad situation. Now, before we get into this, I just want to mention what the Rambam says, that if you learn Rambam in the first Sefer of Rambam, Sefer Mada, which is an amazing Sefer in Hilchos Tshuva, you start to read about how he talks about that the purpose of life is for reward. He says you should do mitzvahs so that you get to go to the next world, you get to go to Olam Haba. You should don't do Averos, so you get to go to Olam Haba. He's going on about Olam Haba the whole time. And as a Chassidus, it's very strange to read, because I'm someone who's trained that Olam Haba is very nice, but that's not what we're here for. We have a mission here. And right at the end, the Rambam says something incredible. He says, everything I said until now is for simple people, is for the farmers, is for the uneducated folk. But if you have a superstar student who's very advanced in knowledge and mature in understanding, you should reveal to him this great secret, that we're not here for reward, that we do the truth because it's the truth. Now, it's very interesting that this great secret that you're only supposed to tell your top students once he's matured with wisdom, he writes that in his book, which in the introduction he writes is for everyone. You know that? It's supposed to be, no, it's, yeah. He says, emes, do the truth because it's the truth. But it's top secret, but I'm writing it for everyone. So it could be that the Rambam considers everyone who reads his book as his top student. Anyhow, so there were many people who the whole reason they did Torah mitzvahs was for reward. Reward. Everything's to get more schar. Like it says in Kivi and Tuki, that Olam Haba, is that near Borough Park? So some people, that's their Yiddishkeit, yeah? Yeah. It's very sad. If you want more details, you could listen to Kivi and Tuki. So I'm not sure which one. They're all the same to me. So here's the thing. I should mention that I know a certain person who, when they were younger, they would go to school on a school bus with a bus driver, some not Jewish guy. It was all Jewish kids. They said, we want to play Jewish music. So I was like, okay, get me a tape. I'll put it in. So they got him a few tapes. They got him Kivi and Tuki. So after listening once, he's like, I'm never playing this again. From then on, like maybe Miami Boys Choir or something. Anyhow, I don't blame him. So, what's the point? It's like this. There was once a Yid. I heard this story from Shmuley Klein, a big tzaddik, one of the Gedolei Adar. So he was once in a shul, and it's a Veltische shul, regular people. And this guy's davening over there. It's up to Kriya Shema. And you guys know it says in the halachas of Kriya Shema, when you say Laman Tizkru, we say the pasuk that we wear tzitzis in order to remind us to do all of Hashem's mitzvahs. So Laman Tizkru means in order to remind us, and we have to make sure to stress the zayin, because if you say a samach, it sounds like Laman Tizkru, that we wear tzitzis in order to be rewarded for all the mitzvahs. So we don't want Chas v'Shalom to sound like the whole reason we do mitzvahs is for reward, is for candy, So this guy's davening over there, and he says, Laman Tizkru. Okay, very interesting. There's a strange sight. So after davening, Shmuley goes over to him, and he says, can I ask you, why do you stress the zayin so much? So he says, to get a lot of schar. To get a big reward. Okay. You got it all messed up. So let's find out today why, if your whole life is about reward, maybe you should go be an idolater. Be a pagan. I was once in Mivtzoyim in North Williamsburg with all the hippies. I asked this guy, hey, are you Jewish? And he points to his necklace and with some image on it. He says, I'm pagan. I'm like, wow, pagan. Like literally popped out of a time machine from 4,000 years ago. A pagan. Hasn't been seen since the times of Avraham Avinu. Okay, you ready for Maamer Yud? Let's find out about what happens if your whole life is about schar. So, Perek Aleph. V'zeu dichsiv. Following off what we said last Maamer, with figuring out all about how you have two ways of Hashem relating to us. In a personal way and in a general way. And what's a personal way is changed for you. Hashem comes down to your level. The general way is everyone's the same. Hashem relates to everyone equally. So if you're a good person, Hashem can relate to you personally. If you're not doing Torah mitzvahs and you're busy messing around, then the only way Hashem can give to you is in a general way, because personally you don't deserve anything. This is what it means, that one will bless themselves in their heart, saying, Shalom yiyali, it shall be all peace for me, for I will go in the ways of my heart. So why? Remember how earlier we said that's a very strange thing to say. Okay, you want to do whatever you want, you want to go in the ways of your heart, I understand. But why will that then cause that everything will be good for you? It's a bit strange. You ever wake up in the morning and you're like, you know what? I'm not going to school today. Today I'm going subway surfing. And that's why my life's going to be a good life. That's why everything's going to go well. I don't think everything's going to go so well. You know? Maybe you want to do that. You want to do that. What? You get coins when you're subway surfing. You know, subway surfing is a real thing. People stand on top of trains and get themselves killed. Anyhow. Maybe if they take enough special sauce beforehand, they think they're going to collect some coins, if you know what I'm saying. So someone who does a sin, he blesses himself in his heart, that everything's going to be good for him, that he's going to have life, and he's going to have everything's going to be good. By the way, whenever I do something good or bad, I think it's going to be shalom for me. But on the contrary, he's like, I'm going to have everything, tons of stuff. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to have money. I'm going to have like millions of dollars. You know, I'm not going to have one car. I'm going to have 5 cars. I was looking at this house online. This guy's selling his house. Very expensive house. So you have to do a photo shoot when you want to sell your house. So what do? You put in a nice couch. They have companies that they rent out a nice couch and nice paintings and whatever. To put them in your house when you're setting it up. This guy, he parked a car in his living room. No way. A sports car in his living room. Okay, very nice. So you don't just have money. You have a lot of money. A sports car in your living room to drive to the kitchen. Why is he going to have everything good? Because I'm going in the ways of my heart. Because he's going in the ways of his heart. Not in accordance of the Torah. Specifically through this, he'll assume in his soul that he's going to get lots of goodies. You know why? Because his relationship with Hashem is now in the way of Makif. Because he doesn't deserve it. When someone's messing around, when they're not doing the right thing, Hashem says, I'm sorry, I can't give you anything personally. You don't deserve a personal relationship with me. So I'm going to have to keep you going by giving you the same way I give everyone else. Everything coming in a general way where there's no difference between light and dark. It's called Makif. So now the guy's like, wait a second. If I get away from Hashem, that's in a general, all-pervading way, that's like a superpower. I'm going to get more stuff than personally. You know, if you're a good guy and you go to work every day, you're making 50 grand a year. But if you're a bad guy and you're robbing the bank, you can make tons more than that. Unlimited. So this isn't in accordance of a calculation. A clip of Sitra Achara. You know who does this? It's the Klippa and the Sitra Achara, all the evil forces in the world. So the terrorists, all the bad guys. Why do good things happen to bad people? Well, if Hashem wants to keep them existing and they don't deserve, and it's impossible for them to have any personal relationship and any personal blessings, they have to receive in a general way in an unlimited way, basically. So it sounds like they win. They get a scam, no? That's why the guy says, because I'm going to have a good time, because I'm going in the ways of my heart. He's giving a reason. This is the reasoning for him blessing himself in his heart, saying, everything's going to be good for me when I do whatever I want. So he's there. Yeah, what?
When they say this, I don't think they learn Chassidus and know the reason why. They're just doing this because they're convincing themselves.
Yeah, that's a good point. So how many of these people actually know the reasoning behind this? So let me tell you, you learn Chassidus and you find out all the bad guys in the Torah are these big maskilim who know so much Chassidus.
Like
Exactly. Haman was trying to reach this madriga, and Paroi was at that madriga. All the bad guys were big maskilim. So, and how's that possible, right? These are just regular bad guys. I think the answer to that question is maybe they didn't realize this was going on, but maybe the source of their soul, their mazel or maila, realized this was going on, and it caused them below to make certain decisions. So maybe Haman's shoyrish above realized that he has to get above the distinction between Yidden and Goyim, and because of that, down here, he went to Achashverosh and he says that the Yidden are terrible. So that was a good question, by the way, because it's something that comes up quite often. So when you're going around scamming Hashem, you come with Makif. You receive from the general Makif energy. They say the not through Seder Shtalshos, not through a specific set way. Like we said before, in order to increase from the full ones onto the thirsty ones. Remember, the full ones are the bad forces that they're like, yeah, I don't need Hashem, I'm full. The thirsty ones are the good people who are always thirsting for Hashem. What does it mean to increase? The safois uloshen riboy. Safois means increasing. Remember we had our two meanings from Rashi and Radak. One was to add and one is to increase. V'hainu, that's because Harova, with the full ones, with the bad guys who feel like we don't need Hashem in our lives because we're full, Sitra Achara, that's the evil side. They get lots more. They get tons more blessings from Hashem. Because if you're a good person, Hashem gives you, He's like, wow, you're good, I'll give you exactly what you deserve. If you're bad, Hashem's like, well, you're not going to exist if I give you what you deserve. So I guess we're going to have to deal with you in a more general way and just give you from the infinite pot. Perek, like we said before. It's a lot more than the thirsty ones, the ones that are thirsting for Hashem. That's the good side. They say the shtalshos that they receive through a set order. Say the shtalshos. That's a very set amount. You have here Hillel. Every day he gives $10 to tzedakah. So Hashem's like, you know what? Tomorrow I'm going to give him $20. As opposed to someone who's going around every day stealing $10 from his grandmother's purse. Then Hashem's like, well, you don't deserve anything. But to keep you alive, I guess we're going to have to hook you up to the infinite part where good and bad are all the same. Otherwise, it would. I'm not sure how long humanity would stay around. No, most people would have disappeared long ago. Can you imagine that? If everyone got exactly what they deserve straight away. The Chumash song. What about the Chumash song? Oh, that's amazing. But the full ones, the bad guys who feel so full, because they're not interested in Hashem. What about them? Mekabelos Milmaila, they receive from above Seder Shtalshos, higher than Seder Shtalshos, Bli Din v'Cheshbon, without any din and cheshbon, without any calculation. They just receive it from a place that good and bad is all the same, more and less is all the same. Omar, about this it says, Lo Yav Hashem Hashem will not want to forgive him. What does that mean? The Davka Akum, specifically the bad guys, Yechoilim, they're able to receive from Makif, the general, all-pervading oil. They say it's not through Seder Shtalshos. That's not in a specific way. Yisrael, but not Yidden. Here's the big problem. You thought you're going to wake up today and instead of going to yeshiva, you're going to go to the subway. You're going to climb on the roof and you're going to make a TikTok video of you jumping up and down on the roof of a train. And because you're being such a scammer, because you're going against what Hashem wants, therefore you're going to get infinite energy and you're going to survive this crazy endeavor. But here's the big problem. This might work for the bad guys, but if you're a Yid, if you have a personal relationship with Hashem, it can't work for you because you're hooked up in a deeper way. Just like a cow can eat grass and live a long happy life. So if you're a person, so you have someone like Menachem over here who's like, you know what, it's crazy, I spent $26 plus tax on supper last night from SMH. From now on, I'm eating grass. I'm going to beat the system. I'm going to save all my money. When I'm 80 years old, I'll be able to buy a house. And I'm going to just eat grass. It's not going to work. You know why? Because you take a deeper fuel. You take a more nuanced, because you're more delicate, more advanced being. Therefore, you need food that's cooked, food that has a proper taste, food that has proper nutrients. It's not going to work if you just eat grass. It's the same thing. Yidden are connected to Hashem in a deeper way. If you start going and messing around and connecting to Hashem, okay, everyone just connects to Hashem, whether they do good or bad, and they get, Hashem is infinite, so He just gives everyone infinitude. It's not going to work for you. It's not going to work for you, because you can't take that. Ki, why? Yisrael, Yidden, they actually come from Pnimiyus. You don't have an option. If you're like a bad guy, if you're a terrorist, you can wake up one morning, you're like, you know what, from now on, I'm only going to do good. Or you can wake up and now on, I'm going to do bad. And either way, you'll be quite successful. Or not successful, hopefully. Hopefully the police catch you first. But if you're a Yid, it's not going to work because you come from Pnimiyus, so you need special Pnimiyus fuel. Like it says, we're going to spend the rest of today talking about the deeper, the inner connection of Yidden and Hashem. First, we're going to talk about from the perspective of Hashem. Hashem chose the Yidden. Then we're going to talk about how the Yidden chose Hashem. You guys ready? Which one do you think sounds more interesting? Did you choose Hashem today, Hillel? Okay, by the end of this class, I'm sure you'll have chosen Hashem. You chose Hashem by Moida'ani? That's a good point.
I thought Makif is a higher level, so...
Yes, very good. With Makif, the general, the infinitude, you get more. There's more going on. It's so high that there's no difference between good and bad, and that's how bad people can still exist. As opposed to Pnimiyus, the inner is specific, it's personalized. But here's going to be the difference. Pnimiyus is a personal connection. If you're looking to get more ice cream from Hashem, if you're looking for more prizes, if you're looking to get more schar, you should go for Makif. Become a terrorist, move to Qatar, and go around soliciting donations from the UN, and you'll make billions of dollars. But if you're looking for a relationship with Hashem, if you're looking for a connection, then you have to go with Pnimiyus. You have to follow the Torah and do not kill and do not steal and do not scam. So then, to have a personal connection with Hashem, it has to be something a lot deeper, and it has to be in a specific way. But now what we're saying even more so in the Maamer, because the way you work on the inside, just like the difference between a person and a cow, that person is not going to be able to live off a cow's energy. You should know that you have an inner connection to Hashem. And that's who you are. And because of that, if you go the other path, it's just not going to work for you. It's going to burn out. That's a really good question. So there's two ways of looking at this. Why are we not going for the infinite? Two ways. Firstly, it might be higher, but it's not personal. It's not you. There's a very interesting mashal in the Kuntrus about how a person, his love of Hashem, which is very low, is greater in a way than the angels, because he speaks about how a person prefers his own foot over someone else's hand. Meaning your own foot that you can't do so much is better than someone else's hand that you can do a lot. So here, your connection with Hashem in the way of Pnimiyus is personal, as opposed to your connection to Hashem, which is the way of Makif. It's like, Hashem doesn't care about you. He's just creating you like all the trees. Then we're going to speak about, in a second way, the advantage of Pnimiyus over Makif in also Madriga. And we're going to have to speak about that soon. Yep.
Even if it's personal, at the end of the day, if them come from Makif, they're still on a higher level. Right?
No. The reason you can receive from Makif is because you're not sensitive. Oh, very good. We're going to have to speak about that. But if you weren't connected on the inside, you'd be able to receive from everything. Let's give an example. Let's say you're the king's son. So you can go around the castle running around with nothing but a underwear in your pants and underwear in your head. And you're supposed to be busy doing some official duties. You're running around like a crazy person. You're going to be locked up.
No, I get that.
As opposed to the town fool, everyone's going to be like, hey, nice, keep it up, man.
No, I get that, but still, at the end of the day, it's still a higher level.
They receive from higher. Yeah, we're going to have to speak about why Pnimiyus is greater. That's a good point. Okay, you ready? Hashem choosing Yidden. It says, Ki chelek Hashem amoy, in the book of Deuteronomy 32 and 9. For Hashem's portion is his people. But you do it, it's known the Shem Havaya, that the name Havaya, the way Hashem expressed himself through his name, it's Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey. What does that represent? Hu b'Seder Shtalshlus. He represents, encapsulates the entire Seder Shtalshlus, the entire way Hashem comes down into the world. Yud b'Chachma, the Yud represents Chachma, Hey b'Bina, Vav b'Zah, Hey Achrona b'Malchus. So you have each one of the letters represents a different way Hashem comes into the world. You guys remember this? It's explained more at depth in the Igeres Teshuvah. Let's get into that some other time. So, nevertheless, so we see that what? Shem Havaya becomes Pnimiyus Davka. Shem Havaya is personal. Shtalshlus is all about coming down into your life. So Hashem, when he reveals himself as Havaya, he's coming into our life. Very nice. Coming personally. And it says, and in you Hashem chooses. Because Yaakov is what Hashem has chosen for himself. Ve'inya bechira. What does it mean chosen? How do you choose something? It's a decision. It's a choosing. It's selecting, picking out that you want this one davke. Yeah, you ever tried to? I was by my niece's birthday party the other day. She turned 1, so she was eating pasta, and she had to select very carefully which pieces to throw on the floor and which pieces to eat. There's a whole cheshbon behind it that we couldn't figure out. Yeah, exactly. So you have to throw some of them. You have to eat some of them. You have to choose very carefully. What? Sharing. Sharing is caring. So Hashem chose specifically Yidden to Isra Medrash Rabbah. What does it say in the Medrash? Melech Shbir L'Asma. Imagine you have this king who chose for himself Moneh, a portion, and someone stood up and said something bad about that portion. Klum Yeshloi B'Chaim. The guy didn't deserve to live. It's a bit like you have a little kid and you're trying to feed them supper, and someone's like, "That looks yucky." They're done. They're not eating. They're just going to cry for the rest of the night. Whoever said that definitely does not deserve life. So the same thing, you have a king. Imagine a king's like, this is my favorite, my best friend. And someone's like, that guy, he's an idiot. The king's not going to be too happy with you. Not getting a good tax rebate this year. So, anyways, the way we see that Hashem chose the Yidden as special people. Ve'elu Yisrael, these Yidden, Chavalosoi, V'nachalosoi, Skulosoi, they are his bound up ones, his inheritance, his special ones. Shenemar, like it says, hey, it's the same pasuk we had before. Ki chelik Hashem amay, for portion is his nation. Yaakov Chavalosoi, Yaakov is the rope of his inheritance, meaning that Yidden are connected to Hashem like a rope. V'yisem li segula, should be for me my special people. This is what Hashem chooses the Yidden for himself. This is only shaykh with the way of Pnimiyus, a personal way. You can only personally choose. It's not like you're just going around, oh, Hashem saying, yeah, I love everybody. No, this is personal. Now let's look at the flip side of the coin. Yidden chose Hashem. When was the last? Here, Menachem Silver. When was the last time you chose Hashem? Here, Menachem Silver. When was the last time you chose Hashem? No?
This morning.
This morning you said Brachos?
Yes.
There we go.
Rosh Hashanah.
Rosh Hashanah?
I'd rather not disclose it.
Classified information. Rosh Hashanah? Yeah, there's all good answers. So, Yidden, Kamosh Kosov, like it says. Ready for this one? From Lamentations 3:24. Chelki Hashem Amar Nafshi. My portion is Hashem, my soul says. V'ism Medrash Rabbah, it says in Medrash Rabbah. You ready for this whole story that you guys all know? It's Geshmaka's story about how Yidden choose Hashem. Now, Rabbi Avula b'shem Rabbi Yochanan Omar, what does he say? L'melech shenichnas l'medina. So one time he had a king coming into the country, and he had with him all his royal officers. He had duchsin officers. He had v'iprachin, cool name officers. V'istar tiluntin, and super cool name officers. You have all these generals and ministers and financial guys. You have the whole procession going on. So the great people of the country, the important people sitting around Medina, in the middle of this country, in the middle of the capital city. Chad Omar one says, I choose the duchsin. I'm going to make friends with the duchsin. Those guys, they're going to get me places. Chad Omar I'm choosing the iprachin officers. I'm going to be friends with them. Take them out for dinner. They're going to get me places. Chad Omar Istar Tilutin. Who can pronounce that? Istar Tilutin. Yeah. Lagabi. I choose those guys because they have the coolest name. Hoya. It's like when you see like some third world country that tries to make a military, and like the whole kunz is how big your hat can be. You ever seen like the North Korean military parades? I don't want to get assassinated, but these guys, like their whole military is about their hats. Fine. Hoya Pikach Echo. There was one smart man.
The Royal Guard.
One clever. Oh, the Royal Guard is really good hats, yeah. So here, Pikach Echo, there was one really smart guy. You ready for this? L'shom over there. Omar, he said, I choose the king. Why? They will change. The king doesn't change. The king might choose a different minister of finance and different Istar Tulutin to have funny names tomorrow. But the king doesn't change. So what's the meaning? Kach akum. So too, you have all the bad guys, all these nations. Some idolaters, they serve the sun, And they're like, hey, check it out. My guy's in charge by the day. Mehen oivdin levana, some of them serve the moon. Mehen oivdin le'etz, ve'evan, some serve wood, some serve stones. They have all these crazy things they serve. Ava Yisrael, but Yidden, Ein oivdin ela kodesh baruch. They only serve Hashem. By Reo Amar, that's what it says. Chelke Hashem amar nafshi. My portion is Hashem, my soul says. So now that we figured out that Hashem chose Yidden and Yidden chose Yisrael, so they have an inner, Pnimiyos connection. That's why the Torah was given to the Yidden. The Torah writes from Chachma Nafkes. Because the Torah comes from Hashem's Chachma. What did we explain last Maamer? That Chachma is personal. Chachma is specific. Chachma is measured. Chachma is calculated. The Indian Torah mitzvahs from inside the Pnimiyos. The Torah mitzvahs come from an inner connection to Hashem. So that's where you have a calculation and a limitation that everyone should get exactly what they deserve, and you have a connection to Hashem. The more you do, the deeper your connection is. It's not like Makif where just do whatever you want, free for all. Historically, it's even kach v'kach davka. It specifically has to be in such and such a way. And the Torah was given to the Yidden davka, specifically the Fishem Pnimiyos, because they come from Pnimiyos, the inner dimension. A personal connection to Hashem. So, kids are in short, what do they say today? The sinner thinks that when he does whatever his heart wants, he'll have peace. But it's just like the evil side. Makif, they receive from the infinite of Hashem. Shefa, Meruba, lots and lots of good stuff. Toyahu, the guy's making a big mistake. Because if you're a Yid, it's not going to work because you didn't come from Pnimiyos. Ha'atzmos in the Yidden is the choice of Hashem Himself. Yisrael, and the Yidden chose Hashem Himself. It all comes from an inner personal connection. So the problem is, if you have a personal connection, you can't just be one of the guys. As opposed to a freeloader who lines up on the king's birthday and everyone's lining up, hey, king, can you give me some free stuff? And he's like, sure. The guy's like, hey, I'm a terrorist. The king's like, yeah, I love everyone. Then if you're the king's best friend, or if you used to be the king's best friend before you got into a fight with him, you can't just line up and pretend you don't know him. You can't just be like everyone else. Yeah, you have to have a personal connection. It's either like good or a bad personal connection.
It's like the muscle of a snake that gave up on him.
They gave up on who?
No, I remember learning like this, like a muscle of a snake that snake just gets, all it has to do is like eat dirt. Like it doesn't have, it's like it survives like very easily.
Yeah.
But others, like in other words, like it's like Hashem gave up on it. Like so, it's like if.
Oh, interesting.
But like everything else has to actually work in order to survive.
Oh, nice.
And like the